And we are back. And on our first night in the 31-day countdown to Halloween, we are starting out the month with 1951's The Thing from Another World. This is rated approved with a runtime of 1 hour and 27 minutes. We caught this on Internet Archive, and this comes to us from director Christian Nyby, although rumor has it that Howard Hawks, the producer, had a huge hand in this. According to IMDb, this is tagged as alien invasion, monster horror, supernatural horror, horror, and sci-fi. And the blurb states, scientists and American Air Force officials fend off a bloodthirsty alien organism while at a remote Arctic outpost. This comes to us from a short story by John W. Campbell Jr. and has writing credits to Charles Lederer, Howard Hawks, and Ben Hecht. I looked at that guy's IMDb page. It's pretty impressive. Getting back to this film, the main character here is Kenneth Tobey, who plays Captain Patrick Hendry, who is, I guess, the hero of the story and is kind of in a pickle to try to figure out what to do here. There's some strange things going on, and they come across this thing in the ice, and of course, they're going to dig it up and bring it to their outpost, and then things go pretty badly, pretty quickly.
Hijinks ensue.
Because
and they shoehorn some romance in there as well.
Yeah. Well, the hijinks start because of an electric blanket. Was that?
Yeah, some dumbass. He's supposed to be guarding the block of ice that contains the thing from another world. Sorry, and the room is freezing, so they give the guard an electric blanket, and instead of using it, he decides, I'm just going to throw it on top of the big block of ice. And what harm could come from that?
And then from there, hijinks ensue. This is your first time watching this, correct?
I've seen bits of it when I was a little kid, and I just remember being very disappointed because the thing wasn't the thing from Marvel Comics. That's how little I was when I first saw it. When they were like, "Oh, it's a thing," and then the other part when the scientist, what's his name, Dr. Carrington, who is just a total imbecile, he described it as a giant carrot. I was like, "Oh, come on." So yeah, that didn't appeal to little me. But growing up, I appreciate it now more.
Yes. One of the things, so I didn't know about the existence of this film until after seeing The Thing from John Carpenter, who obviously this was very influential on his upbringing, storytelling. He's a younger man in 1951, so he sees this with fresh eyes. And from there,
I mean, the opening credit
is a
direct lift from this movie.
Yeah, I was surprised by that. I think
I was surprised by that too, especially considering this is 1950 or 51 when this came out. Usually, opening credits in movies like this is okay. Maybe it'll have a creepy font. This is like the letters getting blasted from behind with the light shining through, and it's written
it looks
in
very cool for
it's
1951.
Awesome. It is awesome, and then to see that and be like, holy crap, that's exactly how Carpenter's version looks. Because I'm like you, this version, even though I did see it before I saw Carpenter's or I saw parts of it, it didn't resonate with my mind at all. Basically, it was something on Channel 13 that I wasn't really paying attention to. So John Carpenter's version is the version that I grew up with. It's my first exposure to the story. And that opening credit that John Carpenter does, I was always like, "Oh wow, that's so cool."
So cool, yeah.
And there it is, like where he got it from, and it is almost exactly the same, even the way the letters are written.
Yeah. I mean, this is so. Let's start from there. The look of this film for 51, I thought was super impressive.
Yeah, it's very crisp. Everything looks great. The sort of like, I guess there are certain scenes in the Arctic base that have that level of claustrophobia that you are familiar with from the 82 version. Mm-hmm. There are other bits where it's very open and airy, which is a little bit weird considering, once again, we're coming at it from 82. Mm-hmm. But they did a really good job as far as like showing everything, the scene where they're like map out the dimensions of the spacecraft, just the way everything looks there are a lot of characters, a lot more characters in this one, which is strange, or not really strange, because you don't really get a sense of many of the characters. In this one, the one that you probably like the main characters are the Captain Hendry, and the scientist. And then there's the love interest, Nikki, who is kind of there because it's the 1950s, right. And you need to have
the girl on the poster.
Johnny Squarejaw needs his gal.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much what she's there for. I think her main purpose was, hey guys, who wants coffee?
Yes.
I think there's actually like 2 separate instances where basically that's why she's in the scene. Hey guys, who's ready for a hot cup of Joe?
Yeah. I mean, I'm showing you one of the posters, and so she is front and center on this poster, like she's a main character, and she really isn't. Which is pretty funny. Yeah.
Well, I mean, you need to have especially back then, you needed to have the damsel in distress.
I guess.
The monster needed to be, even though the monster never actually threatens her.
Or is scary.
I mean,
other than being this big, lumbering, almost Frankenstein-ish kind of monster.
You can't really talk because for a film from
actually,
51, right. You actually had a jump scare when that guy opens the door and it's right freaking there. you were like, ah!
Why you gotta rat me out? No, that's
true. Because that was
100% true.
You know what? But that was actually very effective the way they did that, because you're usually expecting, I'm going to open the door, nothing's there, and I'm going to look around, and maybe he'll like jump out from behind a table or something. But this one, they open it, and he is literally filling the door frame.
Yeah.
Because I forgot who the actor was who played the monster, James Arness.
Yeah.
I'm guessing that guy was really tall.
Yeah.
He was huge. He was all padded up. He looked like he was wearing like football equipment underneath his outfit. And he had like these giant claw hands. Mm-hmm. And he just sort of like swings and smashes the door frame and like rips his arm back, and the door frame's all shattered. And that was effective. He looked like a menacing dude, but in all honesty, he's basically a dude. It's almost like we're watching Frankenstein.
Right.
He had that same sort of stature, just this big hulking raw. In fact, that's what he did, which was hilarious because Dr. Carrington is like, this is a brilliant genius from another world. We could learn so much from him.
Oh my God.
And then Dr. Carrington was such an idiot. And he like walks up to the alien and he's like, talk to me. I know that you're a genius. And he's just like, rah! He smashes him like halfway down a hallway. That's the height of it. Apparently, the genius from another world was not really an intellectual.
No, not at all.
No.
So a couple of things. I think I wanted to highlight something that you said before about all these characters. It's kind of funny because... So I'm going to out myself and say that while I enjoyed this very, very much, again, it's pretty well done for a movie from the 50s. And again, this is an opinion. I'm not trying to be controversial here, but it pales in comparison to the storytelling in Carpenter's.
I don't think anybody would argue otherwise.
I don't know. There are some people that I looked briefly at the reviews for this thing on IMDb, and there are people that legit out loud in print said that this is better than 82 Carpenters. And I was like, okay.
Those are probably the people who are just like, yeah, I didn't like the gooey, gory effects, man.
You know what? Maybe. Yeah. Although, I don't know. Am I desensitized? Like, I don't feel like, I mean, it's obviously... 1982 me was 10 years old and horrified and scared.
I mean, in 1982, those effects were mind-blowing.
Yeah, mind-blowing, yeah.
You never saw anything like that.
No.
Now it's sort of like you appreciate the practicality of them, mm-hmm. but you kind of see that, okay, yeah, there's some weird movements going on that don't look quite natural, and then at the end it sort of gets very Ray Harryhausen-esque.
Right.
But it's still amazing. I'm just talking about the way everything was constructed. this was good. I'm not
Yeah.
downplaying this movie. This was an excellent movie for 51, but I feel like they really were trying to fit a story into a mold that was more appropriate for a movie that came out in 51, where you had the strapping hero, the dame and possible peril, the egghead scientist who's willing to possibly destroy humanity in purpose of scientific advancement. All of those things are kind of like 1950s sci-fi tropes.
Other thing that I read. Sorry.
Yeah, and from what I understand from the story, I've never read the story itself, but the story is more akin to the 82 version.
Right.
The story was more based upon the
Like
enemy within, the paranoia. The alien was like a shapeshifter as opposed to just a big dude with clawed fingers. Right. There wasn't any romantic relationship, even though I feel like the romantic relation was completely shoehorned in there just for, I guess, hitting a demographic in this version. I really didn't even understand why they had the female character.
Yeah,
she didn't do anything.
She didn't do anything for me either. She didn't add to the story. She wasn't really that compelling.
Probably the most impressive thing I thought was, and I doubt that was actually her hiding behind the mattress when they basically just threw fire at. That scene was nuts.
Yes.
Like for a movie back then,
right, because I'm sure there was no OSHA rules.
Yeah, I'm wondering if people didn't get really hurt filming that scene where they're basically just throwing buckets of kerosene all over the place while it's on fire. And they set the thing on fire and it runs out into the snow.
Yeah.
There wasn't a dummy behind that mattress when they threw the
there
fire.
Was a person.
There was a person behind there.
Yeah.
And they're just hurling buckets of flaming kerosene everywhere. It was like the most half-brained plan ever. But yeah, anyway.
I feel like Hawks got his shot, so.
Yeah, he got the shot. So third-degree burns be damned, you know.
So the other thing that I wanted to bring up was the idea. Well, okay, so again, I feel like 82 does this better. I agree with you. I think this is more akin to the actual short story, Who Goes There, but I really love the tension and the paranoia of Carpenter's version, and it just plays so well. And for this one, I think I read briefly that this was supposed to be, I guess, like a cautionary tale about the Red Scare. Like it was more in line with American exceptionalism.
Yeah, everything back then was like about the Cold War,
right?
And all those
is 51, right?
Yeah, those dirty Soviet commies and their ideology, and it was very the paranoia was there, but it was different. The paranoia in this movie is more you're dealing with like an outside threat,
right? And
you're trying to not only deal with an outside threat, but you're trying to destroy it so it doesn't spread. Right. And that was the complete ideology of the United States after World War II. Right. It was don't let those ideas get anywhere near this country, which you get with like you said, the Red Scare, McCarthyism, that sort of thing. But it was also don't let it spread, contain it, which is why you have things like the Vietnam War and things like that eventually sprung out. Or it was always just like, we got to stop those commies from spreading their filth to other countries. We have to defend freedom for the world. And this you could sort of see as like a metaphor for that, with the alien being this outside influence. And he's trying to break into the base. He's trying to destroy them. He's going to feed on them. But we have to destroy it so this way it doesn't get out. It doesn't spread. Yeah, that was the paranoia in that, which, I don't know, it feels less insidious.
Yes,
it's sort of like, because you have this identifiable thing that you could destroy. It's this outward thing, whereas in the 82 version, Carpenter's version, the enemy is within. You don't even know if you're the enemy yet until you are the enemy. It's sort of like that, and you can't trust anybody. So it affects you more. It's not just this hideous monster that's trying to destroy you. It's what about this guy standing next to me who
Right.
who I thought I knew?
Right.
But do I really know him?
Right. And then the ending of Carpenters is just so brilliant.
Yeah.
Between Charles and McCready.
Right. Whereas this
That
one,
ambiguity.
it's sort of like we did it. We destroyed the beast. We destroyed the evil influence. Let's just remain vigilant and look. Well, how does the film end? Like,
look to the skies.
Look to the skies, or something like that.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So it definitely has a bit of a more hopeful thing that if we just stay vigilant, this threat will never harm us.
Yeah.
Whereas the later one, it's sort of like, we won, but did we?
Right. I really hated the tacked on romance. I thought that it didn't add anything. I thought it just, I don't know. I mean, they were fine actors, but it just...
It was the 50s.
Yeah.
You had to have, like I said, you needed to have the hero have his gal.
I guess.
And honestly, it was crazy how every conversation between anybody just evolved into, hey, were there women there?
Yes.
The whole thing. It was like, even in the very beginning, they're all playing cards, and it's just like, hey, there were some chicks there. Everything was just about getting laid.
Well, I think they'd been in the Arctic forever with mostly men, and
yeah.
There was that other woman that you never see, the blonde, but I guess she had been paired off with somebody else, so the only one really available was Nikki. But
that's right. There was another woman at the base.
Yeah, but she was more of like a motherly, taking care of everyone.
I don't. She just
and you never see her.
She appeared. I think she was in 2 scenes.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was. Yeah. Yeah, Nikki was the main one.
Right.
She was the one bringing coffee.
It's interesting because, again, for 1951, I think this is really well done. The story's interesting. The dialogue is it goes back and forth really well. And the performances are good, right? It's not Citizen Kane or the Magnificent Ambersons, but it's good. And it holds your attention. Like, I never felt myself looking at my phone or falling asleep or any of that. And
it's a good film. It's like a prime example of like 50s sci-fi.
But I wanted to also highlight that I don't know if we're going to do this later, but obviously The Thing is an adaptation or a retelling of The Thing from Another World. And so it's interesting because the first one is good, but I feel like Carpenter's is better.
Yeah.
And so it's interesting because I haven't seen the original Salem's Lot, but we just saw the newer Salem's Lot, and we'll discuss that at another time. But it's also interesting to see the evolution of these same ideas or this same story in the retelling. So obviously, if you're putting 51, The Thing from Another World, against 82, The Thing, there's more sleekness to 82's The Thing. If you're watching it in 82, obviously Carpenter's blows it out of the water as far as visuals and storytelling and atmosphere, special effects, all this other stuff. However, 51's The Thing from Another World still holds up. The bones of it are really good, and I think it's an interesting message about them versus us and how we have to look to the skies. I think a lot of wars came from above, right? I'm thinking about Pearl Harbor in particular. It's interesting that they've used this whole idea of an alien invasion to really talk about something else, and that something else is the Red Scare and fear of others and stuff like that. So it's kind of interesting that this is the motif that's used.
Yeah.
And again, it's just personal preference. I love Carpenter's The Thing way more than this, although this does hold a special place in my heart because this is the thing that influenced Carpenter, who then created an amazing piece of cinema and storytelling. Do you want to talk anything else, or I feel like we've
let's just give numbers because we'll probably be talking about this later in the month as well.
Yes. Hint, hint, spoiler. 1 to 10, what would you give this?
I would give this a 7.
I too would give this a 7. I think I think it holds up really, really well, which is also gratifying because it's like, it is, I mean, God, this movie is how old? 76 years old? No, 74.
74 years old, yeah.
74 years old. So this is a grandparent, possibly retired.
Yeah.
And it still slaps. I mean, I think the messaging is there. It's clear.
It's still good. It's still good.
It's entertaining.
Still got the decent pacing, decent plot. The characters are good. Some of them are a bit underdeveloped.
But that's fine.
I think they focused on just a couple of them, which is understandable considering there was a lot of bodies in this movie, which is surprising because I think only like a couple of people died in it. You don't even really see them die. You just hear about them being
There's
dead.
definitely more carnage in Carpenters.
Oh my God, yes. And
then there's Nikki.
Who makes a mean cup of coffee.
Apparently. Driving the men wild.
So yeah, I would give this a 7. I say this is a prime example of like that 50s sci-fi. Not the type of sci-fi with the big bug-eyed aliens or anything, but this is definitely it was like more suspenseful.
Yes.
As opposed to just schlock, which is what you got in a lot of like old sci-fi stuff.
You know what?
Pots and pan robots and bug-eyed aliens and guys with Van Dyke mustaches.
Thank you for bringing that up because even though this is sci-fi, this also touches on horror. And obviously not to give anything away, but you and I watched 2 films recently, which we're going to post at some point this month. Spider Baby from the 60s and also The Strangler from the 60s. And those films they're not really horror. However, they're lumped in this category. And
I would say Spider Baby could be considered horror. It's just, I think I'm sorry I'm cutting you off, but I think what you're basically trying to say is these films are kind of like prototypes for the horror genres that sprang from them.
Yes, but I feel like obviously 51, The Thing from Another World, came out first. So I'm assuming that those filmmakers are also influenced by this. And I was going to point out, I think you mentioned before how like the title cards, right? Mm-hmm. The thing that you were saying about the title cards, absolutely Spider Baby and The Strangler, just very nondescript, very whatever. Here, there's a little bit more thought and put into the presentation of it. So it's, again, this movie is...
Well, I mean, this film definitely had a higher pedigree than either of those other two.
Sure.
This was like a Howard Hawks film.
Yes, he was definitely obsessed.
He had clout. He had money behind his stuff. That's why it looked so nice.
Right.
You can't really compare Spider Baby was... what did that thing cost? Like
$2?
$12,000 to make or something like that. And that opening sequence was just...
ridiculous.
Just ape shit ridiculous. Yes. It was so stupid.
Yes.
Yeah, and The Strangler basically just looked like a TV movie.
It did.
But this was...
I guess it's an unfair comparison, but I just thought it was interesting because of what you mentioned about the titles.
Mm-hmm. Just for a genre film, this had like top tier quality to it. Yeah, for the time.
Agreed. Okay. All right. Well, before we wrap it up, we want to ask everyone to please like, share, and subscribe. And also tell us what you think if you've seen The Thing from Another World. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Do you like it more than Carpenter's The Thing? Let us know in the comments.
Yeah, give us your hot take about it. We're
please.
Totally wrong.
It's not the internet unless somebody is complaining. And as we wrap up our first day of the 31-day countdown to Halloween, we want to ask you all again to support your local libraries. We're going to try and pick a lot of films from the Hoopla app and also Internet Archive, a fantastic repository for movies and books and all other some stuff. It's out there. It's in the archives. Give it a look. I don't think you'll be disappointed. And again, to all the film students, you should absolutely be watching this film. Absolutely. In order to understand where we're going, you have to understand where we've been. And I think that this is a great example of 50s, Hawks, sci-fi, horror storytelling. So get on that, young folk, and go out there and make good stories. And with that, we'll wrap it up and see you soon. But bid you all, hey,
Good night.
good night.